He should be here in a few minutes, but we'll go ahead and get moving. And I want to apologize to everyone first about bouncing around all over the dates for this meeting. And there were reasons for it, but I'm sorry that we were jerking everybody around. First item is the agenda. You got the agenda in front of you. Are there any changes to the agenda? If there are not, and there are no objections, we'll accept it as approved. The previous minutes you received earlier, are there any changes to the minutes? Not, hearing none. If there's no objection, we'll accept those as presented. Darwin, you're on the phone. Can you give us a financial meeting?
Yeah, first of all, I'm going to have Nick comment on three things: the accountability report, our audit, and the state budget plan. So Nick is going to comment on those, and then I'll do all the numbers.
Okay, thanks. Nick?
Good morning. So I just have a couple of items I would like to discuss. So our annual audit, the deadline for the auditors to submit their report was yesterday. They're kind of dragging their feet a little this year. Normally the report is done by the 1st of September. So I got a draft of their report yesterday. Mac and I will have our exit interview with them on Tuesday. So after that, we should be good to go in that regard. I can start preparing financial statements monthly again. I can close out the past 3 months. The second item and these two next items kind of tie in together. The accountability report is a legislatively mandated report that every state agency has to submit. This kind of ties into the budget, where our state budget is more like the data and numbers, but the accountability report is more of like a narrative overview of the past year. So the lawmakers will scrutinize both when it comes to decide if we want to make any budget changes. And Mac and I discussed we were hoping to request an increase to our state budget for next year. Currently, we're authorized to spend $13.8 million. I would like to increase that amount to $15 million. We've got the increase in the LAFI principal payment up to $1.2 million. We've got a number of items that are, come due. We got the removing the Clemagore. We got the lash repairs. So that's what I would like to propose. That when I have to submit our state budget plan next week, that I ask for an increase for our authorization to $15 million.
Any questions of Nick?
Okay.
Darwin?
All right.
Excuse me.
With that said, I think we do need to increase in our budget. We have not done it in years, so that doesn't mean that we spend that much. It just gives us the flexibility if we have to spend a little extra. I'm going to go through the numbers now. So our cash on hand as of August 31 is $13,019,000, which is an increase of $890,300 versus last year. Our operating revenues for the period July through August 22 were $2,807,000. Our expenditures were $1,730,000. So our gain before depreciation and interest for the period July 1 through August 22 is $1,078,000. With that said, I'm going to talk about a few of the numbers that make up all of these financial results. Our paid attendance this is July through August versus July through August 22 versus 21. Our paid attendance actually declined by 6,600 people. Not necessarily that bad, because when we opened up, we had a surge because of the coronavirus. Our camping is way up because we had zero last year. Our admissions revenue is off $151,000 due to this is versus last year due to the attendance drop off. Gift shop is off $10,000. Our lease revenue is up $154,000 though. Camping revenue, which we didn't have last year, is $86,000. Parking revenue is down $12,000, all related to attendance. For the year, we actually had an increase of $66,750 $2,760 in those categories. It went from $2,807,000 to $2,741,000. So, Mr. Chairman, with that said, that's the financial report, and I'll take any questions.
Any questions of Darwin? Darwin, is the Finance Committee
Yes, sir.
recommending to move the state amount to 15, or budget thing to 15 million?
Yeah, we probably should do that because of some of the expenditures we're going to have. However, we've never exceeded that 13.8 million, and I doubt if we'll exceed or get to the 15 million, but I think we should have a little bit more of a cushion. And we've not increased our request for the state budget in years, so I think we should do that.
All right, so the committee has moved to, what's the term, Nick? It's just
We're just requesting. It's not official. They still have to decide whether or not to grant a request. So when I submit my request, that's all it is. It's just a request to potentially increase
So
our
the maximum.
authorization from 13.8 to 15.
Not to
We're
exceed.
setting the ceiling.
Yes.
The motion is to increase our ceiling with the state budget to $15 million. There's no need for a second since it's a committee motion. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Thank
Guys have it, it's unanimous. Thank you, Darwin.
you.
Executive Director's report.
I'd like to ask Mike Hastings to give an update on the Clammerville project.
Sir, good morning.
Morning.
So, very briefly, the work on the boat is progressing quite well. We meet every morning with Tim Mullane from Colleen Marine, and we go over the day's activities, and he gives us an update. For the benefit of the board, just as a reminder, all 504 batteries have been removed from the vessel, which was about 450,000 pounds. They've continued to harvest other parts and pieces off the boat. If you take a look, if you went back to the fantail, you would see that the sail itself, the sail superstructure, has almost been completely reduced, and he anticipates by the end of today that will be gone. The slowdown with the sail portion is because they're taking their time very painstakingly. The periscope itself has hydraulic fluid, hydraulic oil. They don't want to have any spillage, so they're pumping all that oil out first before they remove the sail, or excuse me, the periscope, and then they'll remove the rest of that structure. So that's going great. A couple other pieces and parts. We met about 2 weeks ago with representatives from Salmon's Dredging and also Van Zelstra to discuss the actual tow. And we're looking at the beginning of October. Preceding that, we need to do a hydrographic survey, so I've contacted Gel Engineering, and they intend to do that next week. It's a couple-hour project to survey the marina. They provide that data and information to Salmon's Dredging, and then Salmon's Dredging can move forward with preparing to remove the breakwaters. Having said that, yesterday we received a contract proposal from Salmon's Dredging to do that work. We're reviewing it right now. It looks pretty good, I think, from our standpoint. I think we probably have to have a few words after this meeting, but I don't see anything glaring that's omitted from the contract proposal from Salmon's. Again, we're looking at probably that first week of October, from the 3rd through the 8th, to have the boat towed out of here up to Norfolk. Outside of that, things are going very well. There's been no issues with Colleen Marine. Actually, they've been really very professional to work with. So all things are going very well.
Any questions of Mike? Nick?
Towing starting when?
So the first week of October, somewhere between 3rd and the 8th. That's what we're looking to do, Mr. Mayor. So that's what we'd like.
I'm sure the media is going to want to be here, so I hope we have a
We're
plan.
prepared for that.
Right.
And we will
And maybe
invite,
members of the public, too.
we're in contact with the president of the association, and he's been down recently. He was very, very positive about
Good.
things. But we will invite them for this great goodbye.
Good.
And I don't think many will come, but we'll make sure they are taken care of if they want to come down for it.
Just one other question. You know, we've got that not municipal. It's a unified harbor patrol command for all, like the town, you know, and the city of Charleston Coast Guard and all that. I'm sure they'll probably be on station for that. Keep spectator boats away. Maybe talk to our police about our police and fire boats and all that, just for crowd management.
And we have to get, the contractor has to go through the Coast Guard, so I guess they'll put court and range.
So there's a coordination meeting for the tow plan with the Coast Guard, and the Coast Guard takes the lead on that for the dead ship tow. They have to approve that. And that's Joe Lombardi's piece of it.
Right.
So Tim is, again, the Cully Marine is the inside guys. They reduce the boat and they prep it for tow. Joe is the expert on the tow, the shipping tow plan. So I don't have an exact date when he's going to do that conference, but I'm sure that those details will be sorted then.
Sounds good.
Yes, sir.
Certainly give you a last report in the October meeting. I think very specific. Mr. Chairman, moving forward, jump down to the Office of Resiliency RFQ report, if you don't mind providing.
Sure, yes, sir. So last week, I attended, most of these meetings are done Zoom with the folks at SCORE, and the project manager notified all of us. There were, of the 4 agencies that submitted RFQs, we were intending to do a selection panel at that time, and they made their determination to go forward, and we're going to interview all 4 of the agencies that submitted RFQs. We're going to conduct those in person here aboard the Yorktown in the LTF on October 18th, so I'll be a part of the selection panel. We're giving them a full month to prepare their presentations. Three of the agencies are from in-state, and one is from North Carolina. So there are some qualified agencies that have submitted their RFQs. I read through all of them extensively, took notes, and we're going to probably meet the day before through Zoom before we go into the selection panel committee meeting. And then the way ahead is award in November. They begin work sometime, whomever is selected, in December. Probably about a 90 to 100 day survey aboard Yorktown, and the report will be submitted to us, or actually to SCORE, probably about a year from now. It takes a good 6-7 months to put all that data and information together. So they'll have the environmental assessment report submitted by September 2023. If that makes sense.
And it's, you'll probably be here before, obviously, the gubernatorial election, which is important, because obviously what a report recommends, we hope that the governor would approve some of the resiliency funds to take care of the issue.
Yeah, I think the legislature that's the way as well. Good, great.
Get Terry Ansel to come up and give an update on the Patriots Annex project and groundbreaking.
Morning, good to see you again. Patriots Annex development plan is moving along. On September 8th, the Town of Mount Pleasant issued the final approval. The design review team and MS4 plan were approved, and a letter was sent by the town to South Carolina DHEC to initiate getting the land disturbance permit issued. They were promised a 10-day turnaround, so we expect to see that next week. Bennett Hospitality is in the process of pulling together all their submittal documents for us before starting work, including the contract with Selleck & Selleck, insurance documentation, all of the plans, and financial capability as well. So we expect to see that most any time. They are targeting an October start, and that will coincide well with a tentative groundbreaking project kickoff, with October the 21st being kind of the deadline, or the ideal date for that. That would be the same day as the October board meeting, and the anticipation would be that this would follow the board meeting, probably have an event, ceremony happening, at the water line on the bluff area, and then probably have a catered scenario away from that spot, to be determined where. We are working with Bennett to put together some of the guest lists, so we'll make certain that the proper folks in Columbia and other supporters will will be added to that list to see this kick off.
And this is his event.
That's right.
Even though we certainly are cooperating and don't support it 100%, it is his fair. Questions?
Questions?
Thanks, Sheriff. I'll run through these pretty quickly. Spoke to Exchange Club, Charles Exchange Club yesterday, and it turned out it was the actual 10th anniversary of the last time I did that. It was probably one of the few places I've been lately that everybody's older than I was. But great group.
Hope they're watching this morning.
They've got a good sense of humor about everything. Last year, staff held a Halloween event at Patriots Point, and it was a free event, and it was exceeded probably anybody's expectations. And we plan to do it again this year.
Yeah.
Susan, there you go.
Yay!
And we are going to do it better. Not that there's any criticism of last time, but I don't think it was done pretty quickly, so I don't think we probably put as much time into the planning of it. And things took a lot longer than it should have. So we are going to do tickets this time, even though the tickets are free. We've got to control the number of people, because it takes a long time to get those little kids down the pier, up on the hangar deck, and then through where they are. So we aren't there till 2 o'clock in the morning. So, but we are going to do that. It'll be a lot of fun. Veterans Day is coming up, and it's going to be, obviously, as always, a big day. Veterans will be admitted for free that weekend, including Friday, which is Veterans Day. And we're pleased to announce that Mary White, who is a very renowned artist locally, famous for her paintings of veterans in every state in the United States, and she is going to be working with us, and we were able to make that contact through Ms. Marlowe. And she's got a group of artists that are helping the VA hospital, etc., treat PTSD patients through art. And so she's going to bring that program to the ship on Saturday, the 12th. And we're working with her on that. It should be really a cool event. We'll have volunteer veterans that will learn to paint while they're there. So if veterans here want to do that, you'd love to have you. And we're going to feed them all lunch for doing that. Also, we are that close to having a commitment from the Summerall Guards at the Citadel to form on the flight deck of USS Yorktown. They seem very excited. Talked to Cadet Sergeant about it the other day. They think it's just great. So we think that's going to work out well. It's the first time we've ever hosted them, which is kind of unusual, but it really makes sense to do that sort of thing. We should probably have a more permanent relationship with them than we have had, to tell you the truth, I think. John Falconberry and I have been talking about a number of things over the last couple of weeks. And one, this is the new official magazine for Medal of Honor, and they're buying these, the Medal of Honor the Society, and we're going to sell them out of the gift shop, and we will split the proceeds. They offered that to us, and it will go to the foundation, and of course the foundation will use our share of the proceeds to give back to us so that we can do projects on the ship. So it's very generous of John to do that. Of course, we're also partner in terms of selling. Sam Derrick's already talking about how to do that, so we're excited about that. Got a very important visit on Monday. Is a Medal of Honor recipient's family from Philadelphia is coming down to visit with us and the Medal of Honor Society. They are trying to, the Medal of Honor recipient is passed on, and they're trying to determine where to place his medal and for display. And they've got several options. Certainly the state of Pennsylvania would like to have it. This gentleman was the only Philadelphia resident to receive the Medal of Honor, so it's a pretty big deal for them. So we're going to roll out the red carpet in cooperation with the Medal of Honor Society to see if we can convince them that this is the right place for his medal to be deposited and shown. So I think that's very exciting. The legislative conference that's planned for July, the Southern Legislative Conference, I guess there's 12 states that meet annually, and they want to have, it's going to be in Charleston, they want to have their big event here on the ship. We mentioned that before, and we've got the contract now. Brandon and I have talked about it a good bit. Mike and Patty, our event coordinator, we've met, and this is going to be a partnership between us and the state of South Carolina to do this. So we will be donating the ship for that event. We'll make sure you do that. Talk to the chairman about that to make sure that made sense. And it's a great opportunity for our state, for our General Assembly, for us to be showcased that way for all these legislators from different states in the South. So looking forward to that. Camping, you know, really are gearing things back up. Sarah's doing a great job. She has done some surveys on those that have visited so far this fiscal year, starting back in the end of June. Interesting, 89% of all of our campers, since we cranked it back up at the end of June, 89% have come from more than 5 hours away. It's, you know, we don't know what to make of that exactly, but you know, it's data that we'll be adding to other data and trying to figure out how that fits into marketing and things like that. All were associated with scouting.
It took you that long today.
It did. I'm not impressed with that statistic at all. So they're all from Columbia, right?
We did have the families that stayed in July,
Yeah,
but the organized groups have been scouting.
All scouting. So that also is interesting. And I was with Fred Whittle yesterday at the Exchange Club. You probably know Fred. He's been involved in scouting in the Charleston area for many, many years, and he said, you know, no doubt scouting has been damaged. They're down. The numbers are down. They're working hard to try to get them all back up, and it's not just a local issue. It's everywhere. But so far, it's still working very well for us. 56% of those that came did not look at our social media, which we thought that was pretty interesting, because they get a lot of information from that. So.
Wow.
We got to try to figure some of that stuff out as well. But, very interesting. The numbers are really surprisingly good. The last numbers that we got for the month of September was 2019, and the numbers for September that are booked or have already been here is 424. So this September is better than the last period of September that we actually had campers on the ship. So I think we're off to a good shot. Now we are a little concerned about October. October's been a good month for us in the past, but not so much this year. So it's going to take a while to sort all this out. We're working with Sarah to try to understand what the numbers are. We did a raw projection, and we have to make a lot of assumptions this year until we get real data. It'll take a full year to do that. So we asked the board to bear with us in trying to get back to where we were and understanding not just the numbers, but the cost of what the program is, and of course our revenue. Tied into camping certainly is food service, and we will give you a preliminary, the first stage of our report on what will be our staff recommendation regarding food service at Patriots Point at the October meeting, and then in November our plan would be to give you a recommendation as to what we should be doing in the future. But for the meantime, what we found, since we are not providing food service to our camping groups, Sarah's had to get really creative about trying to help the groups that are coming as to how they're going to feed their minions. And one of the problems is we don't have enough cold storage and dry storage. So I've asked her to work with Nick and get some numbers on what it would cost, and also Mike to add some cold storage here on the ship and dry storage, so that when they bring their food on board, it can be stored until they're ready to use it for their campers. But these are just little complications that we didn't anticipate that we're dealing with to try to make it all work out. But we will be giving you 2 reports over the next 2 board meetings that I think you'll find very interesting, to say the least. The Galaxy, I want to ask Chris just to give a quick synopsis of what's going on with Galaxy. I think you all know that is a system that we used for years to coordinate the sale of tickets for coming on board the ship, as well as group sales.
Correct. Galaxy is a system that we use for ticketing and admission control. It is not particularly well liked by a lot of the staff, and I think there have been complaints by others that it hasn't provided the data that everyone had really expected that it would provide. We have been looking into alternatives. Gina and I have been working on that. We've already spoken to some other museums in the area. We're looking at what they're using and evaluating them. We did have to, because of the time constraints, moving away from Galaxy is going to be an extended project over at least the next year. We went ahead and extended our contract with Galaxy so that we'll be licensed for Galaxy until the end of next June, I believe it is. At which time, hopefully, we will have identified a solution to move to by then. That's all still, the timeline is still pending our evaluation of potential replacements. But that's where we stand in a nutshell.
Questions on that? Thank you very much, Chris. Let Chris off to talk about Library Day coming up.
Yes, sir. Good morning. Next Saturday is a really cool event for us. A lot of staff from various departments have been working together with the Charleston County Public Library System. I know, Mayor, your library over there just reopened, I believe. Right. So we're working together to host Library Day. Anybody in Charleston County who read this certain amount of books, a lot of children will be able to attend Patriots Point free of charge with their pass. And CARTA is also part of this program in partnership with us, and will be providing free rides back and forth from the peninsula for people that can't get here on their own. So that's next Saturday from 10 to 12. The library is going to be hosting story time. Our education department's involved, and also doing things with them with our story time. And then we'll have marketing materials out there for them. But from 10 to 12 next week, there'll be food trucks. Growing partnership that we have with the library. Just thought everybody would like to know.
Thank you very much, Chris. Terry, get you to talk about our architects that are working on the main thing is the gift shop solution. Right. Synchronicity.
There you go. Synchronicity.
Okay, I've been working on it.
They are Synchronicity is moving along pretty well in their gathering information, which includes the parcel lines, utilities, the infrastructure plan with Patriots Annex, and our needs. What they intend to do is be prepared to come to our October meetings with a conceptual programming document, and that document is going to have deliverables. It'll have site plans. It'll have some stats, some massing plans. It'll have some general concepts on space use and flow, and have some 3D modeling as well. So it'll be a lot to be able to see kind of the concept, how they're seeing a way forward. The intention is to use the October meeting to present that, get board feedback on the direction, refine that, come back in November, and see if there are any final tweaks that need to be done, and have a full programming plan done by the December meeting.
Questions there?
Any questions there?
And one thing that you will notice, October has, as you've heard, a lot going on here, but part of this plan, moving that direction, we'll see our office trailers go away in October. And if anybody wants to be here to help show them off, that'd be fine. But in that first week or two of October, we'll have both Aries and Will Scott come to collect those. We're in the process of getting final moves done for all of our folks and people, and so we'll be terminating services, disconnecting, and having that ready to go. Our intention is to repurpose that open area to accommodate more parking, whether that's buses or individuals. Storage buildings will be going away as well. So we'll start to see a lot more activity in October.
A lot of raccoons will be displaced. Thank you very much, Chair. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, sir. Any public comments? Hearing none, Chair will entertain a motion to move into executive session to discuss contractual, legal, and personnel matters.
So moved.
Second? Second? Have a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Yeah. All right. We'll move into executive session. Vote carries.
Did you
email
have
y'all
Kristen's
both.
email that had this?
I do,
Okay.
I do. If I can
What's
see
your?
it.
Let me see if it's, is yours under Bill or William?
W. Craver at
Alright, you want?
I got it.
Craver Law Firm.
Yeah, yeah, it's right
I've
there.
got the email with all of
Great.
them in.
No, I didn't.
Chris, let's do it.
Yes,
Let
thank
me
you.
make sure I understand what you're asking, so I don't
So,
tell you
we're
wrong.
going to,
No, I'm
I can't do the
Okay.
search on my phone. It's a email.
We are back in open session. There were no decisions made, no votes taken in executive session. Is there anything else to come before the board today? Hearing none, our next meeting is October 21st. Is that correct? So October 21st. And we'll be in touch if there are other matters that we need to take care of between now and then. Otherwise, we adjourn. Thanks for your time today.
See y'all.
Okay, Darwin out.
See you, Darwin. See you, Darwin.
Tailgate the Clam Gore.
Darwin coming back.
Be a fun tailgate.
That